Hi everyone, it is me, the Chipmunk. You know, during the 1990s, there were a lot of shows on Saturday night that I would stay up to watch for hours on end. One of them was Deep Space Nine, and the other was The Outer Limits. The Outer Limits was a show that originally aired back in the 1960s. It was kind of a rip-off of The Twilight Zone, since that kind of show was very popular at the time. Well, many decades later, The Outer Limits was remade for television audiences of the 1990s. I love this show, and I have to say I probably liked it a little more than The Twilight Zone, even though they were very similar. Each new episode had a different theme, and a different story, and different characters. And what it also had that made it very good was that it had a number of stories that involved pregnancy, and those were good. And one of them is this episode that I'm reviewing. It's titled The Shroud. Now, the story of the Shroud in this episode, it's a little bit controversial and potentially offensive, at least to some people. Let me tell you why. The story involves a couple trying to have a baby. They get involved with this almost cult-like church that, unbeknownst to them, has in its possession the DNA of Jesus. You see how it can be kind of potentially offensive to some people? Well, anyway, unbeknownst to these people, they decide they want to go to this church whose pastor is also a doctor and a renowned geneticist and fertility expert. It's The Outer Limits. Go with it. Anyway, they end up impregnating this woman with the DNA of what is supposed to be Jesus. And this couple, well, the wife anyway, does not know about this. However, we find out later that the husband has been aware that this was supposed to be indeed the DNA of Jesus. He and the other members of this cult-like church and the pastor/fertility expert are doing this because they believe they will be enabling the second coming of Jesus by doing this. Also, the DNA is apparently obtained from what these occult members believe to be the actual burial shroud of Jesus, hence the title of the episode, The Shroud. As the episode progresses, the mother, now pregnant with the child, starts to discover that her unborn baby has supernatural powers, and she starts to wonder what exactly is happening. She eventually discovers that she has been impregnated with this DNA that is supposedly from Jesus. But, and get this, the conclusion of the doctors that are involved in this, they come to believe that Jesus was actually a mutant. Yeah, you know, an X-Man. It's The Outer Limits, people. Just go with it. Anyway, the story progresses. She realizes that she's been duped, and that her husband has had a part in duping her. Now, her husband isn't an evil guy. He didn't really want to fool his wife. He thought he was doing the right thing, and he was following this pastor/fertility expert, geneticist, whatever he is, and believed that he was just doing the right thing. Eventually, this couple realizes they need to get away from this occult, so they try to escape and have their baby so that the occult will not be able to control him. As far as pregnancy content, it's got several good pregnant scenes, some even bare belly scenes. The rest are, in somewhat very tight clothes. The belly is very round and you can see it. And while there are no pregnant belly expansion scenes necessarily in this film, as the pregnancy takes place in the normal span of 9 months, there are scenes where the pregnant belly is moving in all kinds of ways, and it's really fascinating and really wonderful to see. So there are several good pregnant bare belly scenes, and the rest are all non-bare belly scenes. They're covered, but even those are pretty good. So with that being said, let's get right to our score. Okay, so the final score for The Shroud is 3 out of 3 pregnant women. It has several good bare belly scenes, and even some good pregnant belly moving scenes, shall we say. This episode gets 3 out of 3 pregnant women for a number of reasons. One, I like the fact that they did not make the husband the evil villain in the piece. He was basically a misguided man, but realized in the end that what he was doing was wrong. And he really did love his wife, and he does everything he can to protect her. And in the end, he does that. I also like the fact that they did not kill the pregnant character off or kill the baby off. That could have been easily something that they would have done in a lot of other films, or in this case, television episodes like this. And so I'm really glad they didn't go down that path. Overall, it's a good story if you can get beyond the controversial aspect of the fact that they're making Jesus out to be a mutant who you can clone from DNA and all of this stuff. But here's the thing. It's the outer limits. Don't take it too seriously. I mean, for heaven's sakes, they made him out to be a mutant. What can I say? It's silly, but it's good, silly fun. So while I can understand it might be potentially offensive to some people, I don't think that's what they were trying to do. I think it was more or less just a gimmick for this episode. Something to, shock and awe people with. So, despite the controversial aspect of this episode, I'm giving it 3 out of 3 pregnant women. Good bare belly scenes, good story, and a happy ending. You can't ask for more than that, especially for something that was made in the late 1990s. Well, that's all for now, everybody. We will see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.